Welcome back to another episode of Oz American Aces. I'm Renee Garton and I'm joined by Ash Wicks and Aaron Woods for another belter of a week. How are we, gents?
Very good. Very good.
Have you thawed out from the weekend up on the hill at Manly? And
Yeah, look, my kid's sick as a dog, but that's all right. We used his small raincoat as an umbrella, but it was on and off, I would say.
I was messaging you from the top from the chairman, just waving at you and actually telling you when
Big
the rain
noter.
was coming over.
I know, I get the...
Big noter.
yeah. I was getting the old, brace yourself, and I was like...
Because like you'd look over and it'd just get greyer and greyer. And I'm like, rain's coming in again, mate. So.
And then everyone you just see it collectively, all the ponchos go on.
I have a question for you, Wixie.
Yeah, go on.
Were you a cheerer or a booer on the weekend?
I was a cheerer.
Yes.
I think. Look, what I don't like. It's like if someone was to resign from their job on Friday and then they came in to see their time out on Monday, would you boo them? No, you wouldn't boo them, right?
Well, depends if I was upset that they were leaving.
Yeah.
You know what you're
But
doing.
like, there was a couple of booers around me.
Yeah.
I gave a couple of salty looks. I told one bloke to shut up, but
In
yeah,
different words from what I read in the message.
got to keep PG. But yeah, I was. The boos were small, and then the cheers outweighed it. And I walked past the friends and family section there when they actually came out to play, and Cherry walked straight up there, and it just went off. Like people were loving it. So people forget like 15 years of service. It's like
They also forget he's the highest games played for Manly.
Yeah.
I know.
Like he's the most capped player.
Stop reminding me.
I love it. I love it how you brought the Sea Eagles hat too.
Yeah.
This is an old banger.
Did Cherry sign it?
Nah, this is an old banger. This one, but I nearly wore. I had to wash it because I stunk. I nearly wore. I've got a yellow trainer shirt, so I'm gonna wear that next week.
Oh, how'd you get that?
Maybe
Jeez, you get some.
I was like, the weasel.
Yeah, the
Maybe
weasel's
you
back.
might. It's about 4 sizes too small, so that should be fun for everyone. Hope it's not cold that day. Anyway,
What about you, Woodsy? What'd you get up to? Were you on the job?
I was just watching a lot of footy. I was trying to keep an eye out for our man Wixie at the game on Sunday because I was in part of that WhatsApp chat where he was sending a lot of photos through. But no, it was a good week of footy. I was really intrigued to see how they handled the Cherry Evans stuff. And mate, he was emotional after the game.
Yeah.
And it was good to see. Like that's how much it means to him. It was a tough decision, but he's come out, he's backed himself. And being a journo now, I've had a lot of fun with the aftermath because it was a nice, happy breakup at the start. Geez, things have turned a little bit sour, haven't they?
Well, that's the thing, and that was the top of the latest news that we're going to talk about, is that it could have just ended with him coming out and having an epic game because there would have been a lot of pressure on him. Like, the brain would have been in so many different places this last week. And it was like, we got the result, or when I say we, I apparently play for Manly.
we
Manly
did.
Manly got the result.
Correct. We got the result.
Got the result. It was a fantastic performance. Well, it was a grind-out performance,
Yeah.
not a fantastic performance. But then he sort of doubled down on some of the added more fuel to the fire is probably what I would say.
Smear campaign was the word he used.
Yeah.
Wasn't
What,
it?
what
I
were
feel
your,
sorry
what
for
was your take on
gynecologists
it?
this week. The smear campaign.
Going to where?
They're all like, hey.
It's you got to remember the week he's had. He's probably been thinking about this decision for a long period of time. He's asked Manly, I think it was Christmas time, December, for the release, and he wanted to keep it a secret because obviously Seabold and Mestrov, the CEO of Manly and the coach, wanted to try change his mind. It hasn't happened. And I reckon what's happened is all the speculation about where's he going, is he staying in the contract, the year or 2 years, the money, he got over it. He just wanted to come out and make a decision.
Yep.
And I think from the moment that he decided to make that decision, he thought it would just be all done.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't going to happen. We're going to be talking about this until he signs with a club. And I personally think if he signs with someone like the Dolphins or Titans, I don't think too many people will care. But if he does go to the Roosters, then everyone's going to there's going to be an uproar. Which Roosters claim a club, top 4. I reckon they'll put him back into contention in the window of winning a competition if they can get someone like Daly Cherry Evans. Like he attracts other players to come.
Yeah.
They got Reece Robson coming to the club as well. We don't know what's happening with the centre last year that's gone to England rugby. Had a mind blank.
Suolahi.
Oh, yeah, Suolahi.
No, not Suolahi, the other one. Oh, I've had a mind blank now. He won a comp with them as well, 2 comps. He's in Japan. Joey Manu,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Sorry, Joey Manu. And
I've totally forgotten about Joey
and I'll
Manu.
tell you.
Yeah, you're on fire.
Just ask and I'll tell you.
because he signed with French Rugby, but I don't know how long he signed over there.
Yeah.
So that he could maybe come back as well. But like I said, he thinks by coming out and saying what he said, it would just squash the conversation.
Yeah.
It's just only brought out so much more because Manly look like the bad ones, and then they're trying to cover their tracks and what they've done, the process they went by it. There's been a lot of talk that he hasn't been offered a contract. Yeah, he probably hasn't been formally, but there's been talks about. Obviously he probably hasn't got it written down with the contract, but from everything I've heard and people I've spoke to, if he wanted a deal, it was there for him, and he knew that.
Yeah, I think if he signs with the Roosters, then people will really start to boo.
That's what I'm saying.
Would you boo him if you read out
No,
the
I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't. Look,
You'll boo him every week up until grand final.
Yeah. Boo! No. I think it's opened up so many other different possibilities for every other club. It's so weird. Like we're talking about a guy who just wants to who's being honest. Say that, whatever. But and then it's turned real sour. But then we're talking about player movements on other teams off the back of it.
Where we are, and
so much.
And there was a couple because I spoke to Tony Mestroff as an interview before the game, and I was just like, look, can we be really blunt in this interview? I'm like, Cherry comment, he was really diplomatic. Like he was very much, I think this is going to galvanise Manly. I'm glad he's made the decision now. He can move forward. We're supporting Cherry.
I think with Manly this week was always going to be on emotion.
Yeah.
It's the next few weeks. Once, you can be up here for such a certain period of time, but it's when, the media is relentlessly talking about every day this week, since the game. Cherry comes out as a few comments.
Yeah.
The smear campaign, he didn't name the person, but he knows the person.
Sure.
Who it's directed at. And this is going to continue to grow. And the players rocking up every day, they're not the ones that have to face it, but they're also the ones that are part of it.
Yeah.
And that could wear them down. Obviously, the next probably couple of weeks will be okay, but it's when it's just continually the bashing the media into them nonstop. And then that's when it could unfold. But then as Tony Mestroff said, it could galvanise the group.
Yeah, I think they were desperate to win on. Yeah. I'm glad it was Parramatta we were coming up against.
I was about to say, in the fair income departments, they're playing Parramatta Eels to fire a shot.
I know.
And it's talk about perfect timing. Imagine going in and imagine losing on Sunday after that week we just had. It would have just caused all sorts of shit. Imagine excuse my language. imagine the press conference if they'd have lost. So I think he had some things to say which were probably not needed, but you got to fire back. Right?
Well, that's why this week's so much bigger. They've got Melbourne Storm.
Don't tell me.
Well, let's not go on to that yet. We can cover that. We'll cover that off.
We'll cover that. I was getting excited.
Well, no, I know. But what about the other scoop? Turbo to 5'8".
He's got to not be injured first.
Well, I know also that. But thoughts like him moving into the centres and then going into 5'8". He's going to get tackled a hell of a lot more, and his body's going to be a lot more pressure within that position.
You look at Callum Ponga when he went to 5'8". It's an easy spot. So at fullback, he's probably making 1 or 2 tackles a game, if that. If your front lines are good, you don't have to be worried about that. Yeah. And he can just dictate where he wants to be in the attack line. He can, set up. He can go from play to play. He can be there non-stop. When you're on the edge, the good sides can target you. They can make Turbo make nearly 20 tackles a half. Yeah. It's hard to hide. No, seriously. And as you said, this is a kid that he's played fullback his whole career. Probably the only time he's played centre is for Australia and New South Wales. And those games are a lot different to what a week in, week out, getting your body up, getting it right, copping these knocks. He's going to be a lot more of a target defensively.
Yeah.
So, look, I know there's a lot of talk for him going there, but I've played with Tommy when he's been at fullback. I wouldn't be moving. I know you got young Leo Hopewadi there, but I personally would persist with Tommy Trbojevic. He's one of, or if not the best fullback in the competition.
Even so, if that was come into play, would you think Brooksy would then go to half? He'd play 5'8" and Lehigh at fullback.
Well, a lot of the talk at the moment is their number one target is Jamal Fogarty.
Yeah, also that.
And he's an organiser. Look, a lot of people, why are you going to get him? Why not? I think Jamal Fogarty would be great for them. Yeah. We don't need Jamal Manly don't need Jamal to go out and score 3 tries a game. You've got the likes of Tolu Kola, you've got Tommy Trbojevic, you've got your subs, you've got Leo Hopewadi, you've got blokes that can score tries. You just need a guy that is an organiser to get certain points on the field. We know Luke Brooks plays his best footy when he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yep.
So if Luke can just chime in, chime out like he did, he come up with 2 try assists on the weekend and just get Jamal to focus on, mate, you kick well and you get us to our points on the field, I think it'll be a lot cheaper option than obviously what Cherry would be, but I think he'd be a really good option because he didn't come to first grade till late, but his body's in good nick for how old he is.
What about I don't mind it actually. You watch him. I mean, they weren't very good against us defensively and all that. A week ago, but he had good shapes. He was consistent. I think like we need Brooksy to still run, hit the line. You need someone like Cherry to keep organising, and like they've also got what is it, Starling? He's up for contract renewal too, isn't he?
At Canberra.
At Canberra.
Yeah, but I think Lachlan Kroger's a great player. I think for me at Manly, what they've really missed is Lachlan Kroger. He's their glue, and when I was
He's
there...
got another couple of weeks too.
He's another couple of weeks away, but they've had Jazz Tavanga, who's like a middle forward that's just been filling in hooker, and you got Simpkins coming off the bench. But what... The glue for me in that spine, which is the 9-7-6-1, is Croker. Yeah, right. Because he picks the right times to go to Ches, right time to go to Brooksy, and right time to go to Turbo. And I'd hate to have that role because all three of them at times are calling the ball. And he's got to get up. He's got to look up when the ball's getting played, count numbers. If there's 4 on a short time, we go to the open. He's such a good reader of the play and where they're at and who should be getting the ball.
And he's he's a bit of a makeshift 9, right?
He is. Well, he was a halfback.
He was a half. I think he played 6, didn't he?
Yeah, Denick, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You do miss him.
Yeah,
he also competes, man. Like I remember there was
tough.
that year where we lost to the Cowboys, like at the back of the game. But he was the best player on the field, and we still managed to.
He's a weird human, but he's a good player.
Oh yeah,
out of your mouth. I know we've got a couple of weeks, and we'll touch on Manly and Storm game later on in the app, but. Looking at 6 to 8 weeks for before we see Turbo back on the field, the poor bugger.
Just in time for Origin.
I saw a comment saying it wouldn't be rugby league if Tommy Turbo wasn't injured.
I just feel for him.
That pisses me off. I've seen how much he puts into his body and how much he puts into his game. Like, it made me it used to give me anxiety how much he preps for a training session, let alone a game, and what he does away from the game. So it's bad luck. It's nothing that he can control, obviously. It's just and medials are a contact injury the way he probably did it. So it's just unlucky. But I reckon he could be back quicker. The way he looks after his body, he'll be trying to aim for about a month, I reckon.
It was tough scenes. Oh. I was right. I was sat at that end, and very early on it was like, oh no. And it was really hard to see. And he was trying to put on a brave face.
Yeah, he looked distressed.
But he was noticeably like, oh no. Yeah. And as we all were.
So did I.
Yeah, as we all were. And my kid was kind of like, what's going on? And like, you had
to break it up. You already had one bad story you had to break to him, and now you've got a second one. Poor kid's had a tough week.
I was just like, he'll be back next week. Manly, I'm playing for 6 weeks, according to him.
He's just not watching. Another thing that had you guys head in a spin was it obviously blew up a little bit more than what it should have, because a call came out saying that NRL was cracking down and now all head contact tackles were send-offs. But we've since had some clarification that it's not that. It was more the case that certain referees may have let some go astray and not sin-binned when they should have been.
Referees, they didn't get it wrong, did they?
Yeah. So basically a leaked email has revealed the NRL's concern over the lack of sin bin calls on the weekend for high contact. So Jerome Luai, Jordan Ricky, Tom Gilbert and Reid Marnie all stayed on the field and later accepted either fines or suspension. I think Reid was the only one who got away with a grade 1. The rest were grade 2.
Shows you what pool the Bulldogs have, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Top of the table.
His probably was the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I his comment saying it's a tough game. I get that. It is a tough game. But just don't hit him in the head, yeah? Right? Like,
Plain and simple.
Yeah, you know the human anatomy, yeah?
Plain and simple.
This shoulders above
down.
it, don't hit it.
I just think that I just don't want it to be like that round 21. Season 21 Magic round. We had 14 sin bins in those games on that weekend. I know Buzz come out on 360 and he's like, it's any contact to
that is the worst impression.
But
no, continue with it.
He went off a little bit early. Then it was good to see Andrew Abdo come on later and correct what happened. There's obviously, if there's intent with the shoulder, makes contact with the head, that is going to be sin bin, which it should be.
Yeah.
And when we've watched these games and we've seen the players, like we've seen Luai, I was watching it Sunday night, I thought, Tigers going to be without a player. And I think he even realised that he was going to be 10 the bin when he gets called off and they go, put in a report. Jordan Ricky was the same. was shocked that Reed Marnie stayed on the field, seriously.
Oh, I was noticeably standing in my living room going, he's in trouble here. My wife's like, what are you talking about?
But it's just about, I don't think it's just the referee. I think it's the bunker. The bunker, they're the ones that look at it again. So the referees can only call what they see on the field. But then for the bunker, they need to say, well, there's direct contact for the shoulder to the head. It's a sin bin. It's part of the rules now. Yeah. It's just, you want to know the clarity's there. And with the crackdown, you don't want it to be for a month. You want it, if you're going to do a rule, you want to do it for the season because it can change the way teams play.
Well, it sounds like that's the way it's going to be. So the NRL will introduce a sin bin crackdown this weekend, acknowledging their referees should have marched up to 4 players or more than 4 players. So the messaging that I got from NRL media management today was no rule change, simply admission that by current rules, a number of players should have been sin binned, which means that they're just going, right, they've sat down, Graham Annesley sat down and chatted to the referees, said, we've let too many things slide, crack down, tighten up, or you're out.
Got to hit your quotas, boys.
Exactly. Well, they go in for team meetings too.
Well, who was it that said that they reckon the referee should have a press conference at the end of the game? Who said that?
I'd love it.
Well, there was talk of it, but Graham Annesley used to do a Monday morning meeting and he used to speak to all the different concerns that were happening on the field, and this year they banned it. Well, didn't ban it. They just cut it and said it wasn't necessary.
I can't imagine the hate.
And there was
on those
blow
guys.
up for that at the start of the year because they're like, well, how do the referees then get called into question?
And now coaches can't even have their say after a game, otherwise they get fined. Look at Benji on the weekend. Ricky Stewart a couple of weeks ago after the Manly game.
Ricky Stewart's going broke.
Yeah.
He had to stop. He's going to get in trouble again. So, they're protected.
Yeah.
But they've got to be made accountable at the same time.
For sure, totally.
Players get dropped.
Well, it sounded like there was two getting dropped this week.
Coaches' jobs are on the line.
Yeah.
One bad call against them could ruin their job for the next whatever.
Yeah, I think the Reed Marnie one in good, you rewatch that, you're like, any other week that he's getting 10 in the bin, and that's you see 10 in the bin and you're like, that's worth 10 in the bin. That I don't have a complaint. If we're sitting here and it actually happened, we'll be like, yeah, that's the game. But
imagine someone like Payne Haas did that to Reed Marnie.
He'd be dead.
They would nearly classify that as a send-off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just because he's a little fella.
Are you saying he's getting priority because he's a little fella?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly,
wow.
He's the biggest pest in the game. Surely he gets vote.
Yeah, he's annoying, but
Two different opinions here, though. You've played the game top level. There's a lot of head concussions and questionable post-game concussions that you deal with players and possibly yourself. You coming out from a dad's perspective, same with you.
I thought you were talking to me in the first
time.
Yeah.
You've had a few concussions.
Yeah, a couple of concussions.
But as a player, I think, is there a different as opinion to being a dad of a kid coming through and playing the game, or someone who's played it and gone, it's part and parcel?
Oh, look, my whole mindset has changed since I've had kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially when you're single too, when you're a young bloke, you come through, mate. If I get knocked out, no, I just want to go straight back in there and play. Now you've got kids, you've got family. There's so much more to life, what you realise. But yeah, it's changed completely over time. If you had asked that question to me when I first come to first grade, I'd be like, "You're kidding? Like, no way." But now that I understand what the NRL is trying to do, they're trying to limit the concussions. Which I totally agree. Yep. I just want them to stick to the rules. I don't want them to just go, all right, we're doing this for a month, we're doing a crackdown. Do it for the rest of the year so these rules are just set in place. So if someone makes contact with Ed, we know, all right, it's going to be 10 in the bin. Don't chop and change. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with them just changing it, not changing it coming out now, because they've missed so many, is they'll overcompensate, right? So there's money for me on 12 plus.
Yeah, I was going to say
12.5 plus. Of sin bins this week because they will. It's like it's like kicking a goal. If you've shanked it to your left, you're like, okay, I've got to go more right. You seem to go way more right.
I just feel sorry for the side like the Sharks. Yeah, that it happened last week before the crackdown started. So we're basically changing the rules when they could have had opportunity with a player 10 in the bin. They might have scored a try or two, and they could have maybe been leading at halftime.
That's sure.
Do you think they deserve to win that game though, regardless?
They didn't get an opportunity with 12 men.
Do we have to rely on there being 12 men for them to have an opportunity to win? Or
maybe
do they want to come out and play some decent football?
They could have.
I mean, not to be, I get it, and that's the advantage of someone doing the wrong thing, and you get the advantage, and they did miss 10 minutes with 12 men, but for me, it doesn't say, okay, well, 10 minutes can't win you a game.
what it did for Manly. Like it broke
Let's
Canberra's
not.
spirits.
Oh, that's true. Actually, you got me.
They haven't had the opportunity. That's what I see it as. It's just a missed opportunity for the Sharks, and they could be filthy that's starting this week.
Yeah, they could have put 30 on them in 10 minutes. I get it, but I thought that, yeah.
I do think the Bulldogs were the better side.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you guys go with your tips this week?
Horrendous.
Horrendous?
If anyone got a perfect round, it'll do me. That'll do me.
No, but do you know who did pretty well?
Who's? Not Olga.
Olga's still number one.
Olga's
What the?
number one position. If you aren't already part of it and you're in the ESPN tipping, make sure you jump onto the NRL tipping comp. There's also an AFL one as well too. We'll take on the boys from Oz American Aces in the AFL tipping for a couple of rounds soon, but I also did ordinary. However, I did save myself by picking the Warriors against West Tigers, and that was a bit of a clanger to watch. I was in stress mode.
What about our man here?
I don't know what to make of this.
What the? I've looked at his tips on the Thursday night. I said, Ash has had a couple of before the game, and he's tipped South Sydney over Penrith.
And I picked the margin.
And you also tipped the Titans over the Roosters.
It didn't save.
Oh,
Remember?
So did he or didn't he?
No, I did. I'm going to have to take the loss on that.
Yeah.
Because I put it in our group chat.
Must have had a
Yes.
couple of these on.
Had a couple more and then didn't hit save.
Yeah.
And it I was like, oh yeah, sweet Titans. And amazing. But didn't get
But
it in the
it wasn't
end.
there.
I picked the Cowboys too.
Oh, did I pick that? No, I didn't. I didn't pick.
But all the
you
ones
did
that-
say the Cowboys at home.
All the ones I was really confident with, I didn't pick any of them.
Yeah,
Except for-
so you
except
didn't
for
back
Manly.
yourself.
I do remember I was having a joke, and I was like, "Oh, Dragons, Big Dave Clemmer," and you just absolutely give it to me.
Sorry.
I was only joking, but I was always going to tip Storm.
you were just hopeful.
I was always tipping the Storm.
Well, we had that
Oh,
conversation.
so you didn't back Clemmer?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
That's
I'm telling Clem.
I
put him
texted
on report. Put him on, we'll chat to Clemmer for some sort of punishment. There.
Might
But
as
I
well be
also
Clemmer.
did say, I mean, it's part of my highs and lows, so we'll talk about the Titans. in a
Yes.
minute.
Well, go. Your highs
Okay,
and lows.
highs and lows of the Titans. I said last week, on paper, such a good team. If they can get behind their forward pack, you got Sam Verrills there playing at 9. Like, you get behind the forward pack, they'll win. And they were just... Jaden Campbell in full flight is just so fun to watch.
So
Yeah.
silky, isn't he?
He is exactly like his dad.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Footballer.
Yeah, I know, but just like his mannerisms, different personality off field, but like the way he plays is identical.
What about that game? Like I commentated that game. How the Roosters weren't up 30-6 at halftime, I don't know.
They just lacked execution, didn't they?
Oh. They were getting up the field so easy. They had like 6 line breaks to 1, but then they just couldn't score.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if the Titans can fix that up, that would be like a bit of a roughie, and I don't mind it. Like, imagine living on the Gold Coast right now and your footy team's winning for the first time ever.
That's the problem,
It'd
mate.
be a
You
nice
live there
change.
and you just go on a bender.
Yeah, you're in paradise and your team's up the top. You're like, whew.
I
Life's
wonder
too
if they
good.
still have the ban where they're not allowed to be in Surfers Paradise. That used to be the ban when I
Really?
worked there. They weren't
But
allowed to be
broadcasting,
when
that's
you're
a lot better now. There's a lot more
Yeah,
Burley.
Burley's the place to go now.
Was it Burley Pav, isn't it?
Yeah, Burley Pav.
Yeah, I used to work in Service Paradise.
There was
I went to
players
schoolies 4 years in a row.
So you're a toolie.
You're a-
No,
100%
I went.
tooling.
I was pre-school, so a few years leading up.
Can I give you a high? Can I give a high?
Yeah, go for
Dave
it.
Clemmer.
Yeah. You're just trying to suck up after not
No, I had
tipping.
it on my sheet already. See, Dave Clemmer.
Oh, chalky tongue.
I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for him. Couldn't get a start at the Tigers.
Yeah.
He goes there. They
down.
beat Melbourne Storm. Unbelievable.
That's huge.
That's my low. Actually.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
mate.
think-
Sorry. That's my high because something happens if Melbourne Storm lose.
Your high is my low. So look, my low is Melbourne. I'm a bit off it because they lost so quickly after my prediction. Not my greatest prediction, I will say.
Please throw out your big bold prediction again.
My bold prediction was that they weren't going to lose a game this year, and they lost after 2 weeks.
Hurt losing Hughesy.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, oh, God, what have I done? And my wife's like, why are you so upset? I'm like,
And can you tell the audience why you're so upset?
apparently I have to get a Melbourne Storm undefeated 2025 tattoo somewhere.
And there wasn't 40-0 underneath it too?
No, we're just going to go with that.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
might be a
And
bit
then he's
long.
got to get the line through
Gotta
undefeated.
get the line through
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that was my low. I'm also thankful it's over Because the last couple of weeks I've been stressed.
I needed it to go for longer. I felt like it was like...
Mate, it sucked. Like, you should have lost last week, 2 weeks ago as well. Against Penrith. Like, I was like, you mocked them.
Do you know how many messages I got from people being like, you did this?
You're the catalyst of,
100%
you're
the mocker.
destroying
I know.
Melbourne.
I even sent him a little sorry message. To be like, sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Won't happen again.
Yeah, Munster won't talk to you.
No, definitely not.
Ever again.
So I don't think the Bulldogs are going to lose a game for the rest of the year. See how that goes. No. I'm just putting the kibosh on all the
fan
team.
base, the way they turn up to all their games?
Yes.
They will be at your front door on the northern beaches.
Nah.
You'll be in all sorts.
They wouldn't come over there.
You can't put them up on
If they know
Bulldogs.
it's good for them, they're not coming to the Northern Beaches.
So we have crossed off that is your sin bin because
Yes.
you're officially getting that tramp stamp.
I stuffed
Yeah.
up as well, but
Yeah, because you were meant to bring something in
spray
today.
tan, but I broke it on Friday night, handing my
I
wife.
feel like I'm going to look like a whole new person by the end of this year.
Well, you could have got it for your Easter break and
Yes.
you've gone and ruined it.
Yes. Bring it in.
What
Let's
did you do
it.
with the tanning kit?
Just smashed it on the side accidentally. You know when you like move around?
Talk me through tanning.
So she's got like a big machine at home, and it's like a gun that's connected to it.
It's like a paint gun.
Yeah, it's like
right.
it's literally like a paint gun with a big machine. And as I was spray painting, I went to sit, like to turn back, and I've kicked it, but actually like leant on it and cracked it through the middle.
Halfway through the spray job. So what is she half,
Oh,
half and half?
that's dark.
So let's just say she wore tights all weekend.
The bottom
Was
half
it
is
just
brown.
one leg done and one leg
No,
not?
upper half was sweet. Bottom half, no good.
I love the fact that both you two taught me how to affect hand machine wear.
Well, there's also like we're more manual in my house, so we've got the mitts.
Oh, they were shocking. I
yeah.
moved on from them quick, man.
I know.
They
And my wife's like, "Can you
suck.
do my back?" I'm like, "No." Get those mitts
I
out.
give Nick about this much room, and I barely use it, like because I just don't like the feeling or the smell of it. But I'll give him like just in between my shoulder blades where I can't quite reach,
Yeah.
and that's all he's allowed to touch because I have
You still
zero
get the
trust.
crap smell in your hands, but it's
Yeah,
like,
that's why I can't cop, and you just like even though it washes off, it still smells.
Anyway, it's a rugby
yeah.
league podcast. Let's get back to the rugby league.
We're going into the Would You Back It session, and we do have some nice little bets on play this week.
Yes.
Woodsy, where
So
are you
I'm
kicking
going.
off?
I've got the Sharks v Raiders game, and I
Yeah.
think this is probably one of the games around. Our great mates at Statmate, they've got Xavier Savage has scored a try in all of his last 4 matches at GIO Stadium, which is in Canberra. Ronaldo Mulatalo has scored a try in 3 of his last 4 matches versus the Raiders. And Kao Iro has now scored a try in all 4 matches he's played this season. So I was thinking about it. Look, Kao Iro pulled up a bit lame after the game with a bit of a hemi complaint. So for my same game multi for Would You Back It, I'm going to go Sharks minus the start, which is 4.5.
Yeah.
Into Mulatalo and Savage to anytime try scorers.
Ooh, okay. I don't mind that.
The Savage Cabbage, I reckon.
The Savage Cabbage.
He's been looking good
The
this year.
Savage.
If he had a pass back on the inside, they'd probably win the game on the weekend.
You get really upset when people don't pass because you're always on the try scorer that doesn't receive the ball.
And you know what? One thing I always tip with my multis and my same game multis is always back wingers because wingers are going up against wingers. So they're more chance of scoring.
You don't think wingers are a good.
I don't rate them as rugby league players.
Such a forward
I
thing
know.
to
I
say.
just thought I'll put the ball.
Players,
in the
they
team.
got the front row seat to watch the greatest game of all.
Wow. Okay. Don't come after
we
us.
all-
Actually, Brian Toto, he's a front row man.
He is, yeah. Couple more. If he was a couple foot taller.
Mulatalo was one of my wingers.
Yeah.
But, geez, when they used to put a bomb up, I used to have my heart in my mouth, my fingers crossed, just catch it, please.
Yeah.
Because
Who was
you
it?
weren't going
Is
in?
it KO Weeks?
Have you seen him catch?
KO Weeks of
Oh,
the last
geez.
couple of weeks. Oh, he's been getting peppered.
Saab.
I've actually got a good story for
Saab.
you. I've got a funny story for you. We played one night at Penrith Park. Jordan Rankin was our fullback. Nathan Cleary was doing these floaters. Like I'm saying, I'm watching them. We're trying to put kick pressure. Couldn't get near him. And these kicks, I was just nervous for Rankin. And it was at a period of the game. He's probably dropped about 3. And the crowd starts going, ooh. And then he dropped about 4. And on the 5th one, he caught it. The crowd went nuts. We're the away team at Penrith Park. They've applauded him for catching one.
And you lost by how many?
He came home with me and his car was at my house. My wife said, can you make him stay here? I think he's going to do something bad if he goes by himself. That's how bad of a night it was.
Oh, that's brutal.
Poor ranks, but I love you. You're a good bloke.
But youngest bloke to ever play NRL.
Gold Coast Titans,
Yeah,
yes.
Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, right.
One of the great humans you meet in
Yeah,
rugby league.
he's an absolute legend.
Can't imagine what it's like getting peppered with those bombs.
Oh,
Like a Matty Burton bomb. You're like,
Oh, that's even worse.
I just walk off.
I thought that was going to be worse at Brookie. The wind was absolutely blowing on Sunday. I thought that was going to be a bad day to be a fullback. But
Yeah, it was. It was. I was thinking it wasn't as bad as it turned out to be for some reason. But like, yeah, like if the wind got hold of one, you could definitely.
Have you ever dropped a shocker?
Come on, man. I've missed the huddle.
You jumped over it.
Yeah. And thought no one's seen it.
You thought no one saw
That was
that?
forever in our
Are
memory.
you kidding? That lives rent free in my head.
Well, yeah, but the thing was, like, we're in a game and like we've just come up with one of the greatest moments in New South Wales. We beat Queensland. We've done a Queensland to Queensland. We beat him in the last minute of the game, and like we were just so ecstatic. I got up, I was like, yes, and I was like pumped up to the crowd. Didn't think no one saw me, and then got back inside of the sheds. Wow.
Only 90,000 people saw you then, and then everyone else.
And I'm
has seen
sure
you
when it
afterwards.
comes up to Origin time again,
I know it's great. It's
and then
good
we'll come to Origin time again, and I'm just going to get hammered by everybody. I
for the
get
rest of
tagged.
your life, mate. For the rest of your life, it's good publicity if you ask me.
I love it. But because I think it was Jenko scored, wasn't
Yes.
it? And he ran off
Stupid.
and no one celebrated with him.
There's one person I blame.
Oh, really?
Josh Mansell.
I'm gonna have to review the footage.
Josh Mansell just pushes the huddle. Yeah, we know you got big guns, mate.
Yeah.
You didn't need to push him out of the way for me to miss the huddle,
It
bro.
was like, here he comes, quick.
Yeah.
And he's over the top.
He was enjoying the huddle. It's probably one of the only
It's
Origin
good
games he
gear.
played.
It's a very good
Love you,
video. I
Josh.
think
That's good fun.
Every year I love seeing it pop back up.
Oh, I'm here for it. All right, Ash.
I'm going to Battle of Brookie.
Oh, shock, horror.
I said that I'm going to steer away from Manly, but
No.
there's just everything happening with Manly at the moment. And then the Battle of Brookvale, no Hughes. I think it'll be close. I'm going to go with. I'll start with just Manly 1-12.
Yeah.
Just because of the home ground.
Come on, boys.
Hopefully we don't have a similar. I reckon if the weather's the same with
Yeah.
this as it was with Paragame, we lose that just against Melbourne.
You wanted to be a wet track?
No, I want it to be dry.
Okay, so you're going Manly 1 to 12.
Yeah, Manly 1-12. Saab anytime, Hamoli anytime.
Okay.
Oh, mate, did you not watch the game on the weekend, Melbourne Storm?
What do you mean?
They couldn't score against Dragons in a wet track.
Yeah, but I reckon they'll come. They're Melbourne, mate.
There is Saabs has now scored 6 tries in the last 7 matches at 4 Point
Yeah.
Park, so we've got that.
Hamoli hasn't scored in a couple of weeks at home. He's due.
You're not going to chuck anyone from the other side on?
I was going to put Pappy on because he scored 7 from 10
Yeah,
away.
in away games, yeah.
Yeah, let's chuck Pappy in there too, just
Yeah, you
for
want-
one.
Just
I love
one,
how we can
one
just
try.
convince you. What
I
about,
know.
what
Yeah,
about
we're just at
Warbrick?
it.
You know?
Chuck Wahlberg on it.
Wish out.
Happy 1. Harry Grant's never scored a try versus Eagles at all.
Wow, that's a
9
surprise.
meetings and no tries. So is he due?
No,
I can't swerve you there. Maybe
I
I'll
don't
do
think
one.
so.
Maybe I'll do one.
maybe.
All those stats are thanks to a StatMate as well too. They're the best mate when it comes to building in multi. Now before we move on from our punting action.
Yes.
Do you guys like golf?
Yeah, I love golf.
Do you?
I've played a couple of times, but I'm not an avid golfer. No, I'm not allowed to.
You know what's killed me? Kids.
In
Like
general,
my
or for
it's
your
killed my
golf
golfing game. Like,
Yeah, I think. Look,
it's like a 4-hour trip to play a round of 18.
Yeah.
Misses don't like that when
No.
I'm way too far.
I don't blame her. I mean, especially becoming a new
Rich
dad.
from you're away every
I
week.
know. This bloke's never home.
I'm working. All right. I would say of all the hobbies for a dad to have, golf is like you're kind of like, come on, mate.
You know what the best thing about golf? You leave your phone in the car,
Oh my god.
and it's just you go out on the course, and you and the ball for 4 hours.
How frustrating.
You come back angrier than what you left, and then you've got to get home and cop it from the other half.
Oh,
I
man.
can't do anything for 4 hours straight. There's
We
no
know.
chance.
I actually really enjoy golf. I enjoy
Surprising.
Ambrose.
Ambrose is great.
Ambrose is the grouse.
Yeah, I did it last time I played golf was with Braith and Astor in Vegas. Top golf.
Drop.
And I played
drop.
a cover drive.
He can. You got Happy Gilmore over here.
Yeah.
I was like,
Get him a hockey stick.
Well, the Augustus Masters is on. It's
Yes.
teeing off in it very shortly. How many hole-in-ones do you reckon there have been in 10 years of the Masters?
Oh, easy over 20.
10.
How have you gotten that right? And
Well, it's only 10.
10.
It's like one a year.
yeah, well, they're pretty hard to get. I came this close to getting one at Longreef, but
wasn't-
I
wasn't
actually
close
think because it
enough.
was blowing and it actually brought it back
Can't
onto
blame
the
the wind.
course. No, I actually
Only-
thanked the wind for bringing it closer.
Only 10. In
Yeah.
10
How many years has it been running? That.
Why would you throw questions at me I don't have the answers to?
I
Been
was
in
just trying
Augusta
to
for
see.
years. It's been in Augusta for years, brother.
Oh yeah, 10's.
The Masters.
Been long. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
complete guess.
Yeah, well, you've
would've-
nailed it.
10 is my magic number now.
All right.
Jesus, I
Well,
would've thought it was
to
much
celebrate the Ace Points Bet, will pay out early on your tournament winner bet for a hole-in-one at the Masters. So
That is great.
even if they don't win the tournament, they might get knocked out early. If you've pinned them for a hole-in-one, you win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Load up.
Exactly. So pick a winner to take out the tournament, and if they nail the ace, you win. Check your account for personalised max stakes, though, because T's and C's apply. Points bet, but different, built different.
That's a cheeky little thing there from PointsBet.
I think so.
I like that.
Are you guys going to get on one?
What's
I'm gonna go on.
what's a hole in one?
DeChambeau.
What's a hole in one would pay? Like, is it surely it'd be huge?
Well, we have to get on
It's
points
gonna pay-
bet to
it's
see
gonna
what
pay
it's
a
going to
winner.
pay
I'm
out.
gonna have to get on there.
There'd be different odds for different guys, I'm sure of it.
For sure. I mean,
Just don't go for the Parramatta Eels of the Masters.
yeah, right.
Well, if he gets a hole in one,
Or you want to
yeah,
try a
you
celebration?
could.
True.
Actually, go for the Parramatta Eels of the Masters.
Just like the worst golfer on the tour.
Yeah.
You reckon?
They'd be paying massive.
Paramount.
All they got to do is get an A.
Remember, you get max streak, so you max go at that though.
All right, cool.
So
I'll get on
if
it.
you're a massive punter, you might get like $10 or $2. But
Okay.
if you're like average punters like us, we might get like 100.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have a crack.
Yeah.
I'll have a crack this week.
Why don't we
We'll
watch
see how
like
we go.
$20 on one of them?
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see if we can get a collective.
Thank you, PointsBet.
Right.
Thank you.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
All right, let's head into segment 3, the last segment, or not last segment, but which game and why? Because we've got some belters coming up this weekend.
Oh, for me, it's the traditionalists. It's the rivals. The biggest rivals in that game for the normal
Dolphins
ones.
and no.
What? South Sydney Rabbitohs coming up against the Sydney City Roosters.
Yeah.
But you know what? This clash, it's even more bigger. Latrell Mitchell back
Yes.
in the centres.
Yes, because that was going to be my concern. If he was coming back, what happens to
So
Jai?
you know Jai Gray, he's actually leading the Dally M's.
How many?
He's on 14.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You can't move him. Like
He was exceptional
And I
last
think this
week.
is going to be a good, depending on how Jai Gray plays for the rest of the year, this will be great for Latrell just to get his match fitness back. Obviously, he doesn't have to do as many Ks. Fullbacks, what they call is on your GPS systems, a lot of high speed meters. Whereas when Latrell's at centre, he won't have to be going stop start as much and a lot of accelerations. He can just sort of pitch out there. He obviously doesn't do those early carries, but once they get down the other end, they're going to be dangerous, South Sydney, especially that left edge too. They probably will. I reckon they will move Whiten, and then they'll leave Latrell on that left edge.
Oh, okay. Yep.
As a former player, if you're picked for a position and you believe, say he comes back and they say you're at fullback, and the trail goes, well, Jai's playing really. Do you have any say whatsoever? Can you go? I think.
Question.
If Wayne comes in and says, "Look, Latrell, put your fullback," and then you can probably say, "Look, I think Jai's doing a great job. I don't think we should move him."
Wayne would be like, cool, who's the coach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
cool,
but I
shut
also think I think you could be doing that to try to please Latrell. But Latrell, I reckon he'd be a team person.
Yeah.
And the way that Jai Gray is playing, he's an X factor for that side.
Yeah.
And he'll know that if I can go to centre, there's more threat. Like imagine Latrell 1-on-1 out wide. It's sickening.
Yeah.
He's that hard when he's at fullback, let alone when you get him on that left edge when he's 1-on-1 with another centre.
Yeah.
Like I think it's who would it be up against this week? Is it? Oh, it's a young fella, Rob Toyer. He's
yeah.
a young kid, so. Geez, and he idolised. I saw an article throughout the week that his idol was Latrell Mitchell.
Oh, you never want to meet your heroes, do you?
Never want to meet them,
Not if he's
especially on the
running
footy
it
field.
yet.
No.
So yeah, I think Latrell would probably speak up in that instance.
Yeah, interesting.
But then in saying that as well, Wayne's the type of coach that just tells you how it is, and you just go out there and do what's best for the side.
He's such an individual people manager.
Yeah.
So potentially that conversation was had, to be fair.
Yeah, I think like
Easy.
You look at Latrell, he's experienced enough. He's been such a good player for so long that you would just about take his word for it.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, okay, well, you believe that we should not put you at fullback because your current fullback is leading the Daily M's. He's the most exciting player on the field at the moment. But we can put you on the edge and you can run havoc. What do you think about that? And he'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
He knows, mate. And then the one game we saw Latrell Mitchell at centre last year was Origin. How good was he?
Yeah. We saw Tom at centre too, and how
Yeah.
good was he there?
Oh, Tom.
Anyway.
Which I guess leads me to your game of the week.
Oh,
which
yeah, I'm
you-
just going to stick with my Battle of Brookie. You can't
Yeah.
go past it. I mean, the history there.
You love the Eagles, don't you?
So, yeah.
That's why I'm here.
No other team plays.
But look, I Battle of Brookie, but this year I really like Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know, like I did that silly prediction, but that was out of endearment. I like them. I like the way they play at the moment. I know Jerome Hughes is out, but I just think that game at Brookie brings out the
big
best
fella.
and the worst
I think the big fella's back.
of everyone.
Nelson.
he's back again?
No.
Back again for the second time this year, and it's only round 4.
We had a HIA.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yes.
I thought he was suspended.
No, it wasn't.
it's
You
just
sure it was
actually
him with the
out.
HIA or anyone who's come up against?
Yes.
Look, yeah, that's the game for me. I think the crowd will really get into that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
I
like,
think,
it's surely it's sold out already.
Homali looked like he just wanted to kill someone off the line last
Oh.
week. I cannot wait for those two to come.
He was
together.
really projecting himself into. And I was like, what's going on here? And then when he had the ball close to the line, there was one run there and he got held up.
Yeah.
He had like 6 players hanging off the back of him.
He's such
And
a
then he
big
just
man.
got up and the worst thing that happened to him was his pants fell down a little bit. And he just got up and he pulled his pants back up and carried on.
You know what? Like when we're training against him, like you come up against him, and even when he runs soft and slow, it's still hard. Like it's like, geez, I feel sorry for the opposition. Like, and because you got to remember, he's in that mindset where he wants to hurt you,
Yeah.
and I would hate to be
Yeah.
like lining up against that. It's like, oh no, thank you.
He's got that Clemmer mindset.
Yeah, like as soon as they cross that white line, just the eyes start going, and it's like
He's such a big guy too.
he's a lovely
Remember,
man.
I had breakfast next to him at Denny's.
Oh yes,
He was there with his partner.
Yep.
And it was just the two of them. The amount of food, just to fill the guy up.
like he's a big boy.
He's huge. Took up the whole booth.
What do you think is going to happen? Obviously, no Tommy. As we mentioned, he's gone for could be 6, could be 8
Yeah.
weeks, depending with the MCL. So Leah Hopewadi will obviously take that full back role, we
Yeah.
assume. What do you make of the halves and even then the shuffle from centres to the wings?
Was Tommy Talau back this week?
Last time I spoke to him, he said 3 weeks, which would mean this would be another week on the
Yeah,
sideline.
okay. I
So
did
he was
see-
a hammy.
I walked
They
past
won't be
him,
rushing him.
just around the ground in the day, and he looks fit.
Yeah,
He looks
yeah.
ready to go, but it must be obviously niggle.
I think they'll bring Clayton Fualo in on the
and
wing.
Yeah.
I think we're probably due a really big game from him. Like
Yeah.
he's been, I think was it in the trials? He looked really
Really good, yeah.
And then he sort of come into the team here and there.
Yep.
But I reckon a big game from him would be just about due, surely.
Yeah, I think-
and Lehigh.
Yeah, Leo's a freak.
Yeah.
I think he debuted against the Melbourne Storm this time last year at fullback when Tommy went down. And mate, this kid, you just got to get him in the action. He's one of those guys like you look at him and go, geez, there's not much of him, but he just finds his nose, he pokes through. He's got the nice soft hands.
Yeah.
He's just a footballer.
Give him a bit of room, man. Watching
Yeah.
him with a bit of room and the silky hands, like.
You know what his dad said to him and all the rest of the Hopewadi clan?
Where-
He goes, if you better have a good game because
Yeah.
I have 13 kids to go and watch sport for. And if I bother turning up to a game that you play and you play shit, you're going to hear the end of it.
What a way to give his kids some childhood
I'll tell you
trauma.
something. I played a reserve grade game with Lehigh last year, and he dropped the ball, and the side ended up scoring a couple of plays later. And I was, mate, it's all good, man. Like it's part of the learning curve. I said, don't worry, bro. Keep your head up. He goes, no, I'm not worried about that, Woodsy. And I go, what are you worried about? He goes, look over there. There's John just like staring at him like that. It was at Brookvale. I'll never forget it. We're playing against Cairns.
Was he on day
He
release?
goes, I don't want to go home.
Was John on day release? Was he?
No, mate.
Look, he's got a long way, like a long career ahead of him. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested. So I think they'll line up pretty good. And Hughes is not back, but the big fella's back. So it'll be a good game.
What about Broncos and West Tigers?
Big game that.
Yeah.
Because
No Luai.
Jerome Luai's out.
Is it at Suncorp?
Is it Suncorp?
Yeah.
Oh, see you later.
The big thing is, you know what? Michael Maguire would have had this one circled
Yeah.
on his calendar. This is the side that sacked me, my last NRL coaching gig. He's had to fight back with the Origin and New Zealand Kiwis. He led them to, I think, the Kiwis in his last game beat Australia in the tournament, the Pacific Championships.
Yeah.
He took New South Wales to win a decider up in Queensland at Suncorp Stadium. he's on a high.
Yeah.
He started off the year, I think they're 3 from 4, the Bronx. They had that hiccup against the Canberra Raiders and Nation's capital. They're flying. And when you watch the Broncos start the games now, they are coming out like they're shot out of a cannon. And this game, if Tigers don't match that early on, it could be worrying. But I think it's a good opportunity for the Tigers.
Yeah.
Like they've been playing some good footy.
Yeah.
They should have won. Mate, they've lost 2 games this year, both by 2 points.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of upside to the Tigers.
But they have struggled with their halves partnership when they sort of didn't know each other. So at the start it was Lockie Galvin and obviously Luai. Now Latu Fanu comes into the halves. Is that going to make them disjointed again?
But like watching the games, like Luai's still playing that 6 role.
Yeah.
It's like they got 2 6s. It's like they're not setting up for shape. Api Coruscant, a lot of direction comes off him. So this will be an interesting one because I know Latu is a 5'8" as well. Like we had him at Manly. He's an exceptional talent. Yeah. Manly were filthy to let him go, but they sort of had to because of the salary cap restrictions.
Just another one we let go.
I know. This kid's going to be a superstar. If he can stay on the field, he's had problems with his hamstring. Even just like on the weekend, he recognised that the A was a little bit wide, which is the first defender next to the play the ball, and just took off, left foot step, scored a try from 10 metres out. Like that takes a lot of balls as a young bloke to recognise that and to do it in first grade. He hasn't played a full 80-minute game yet. Yeah. But this is a really good opportunity. They've got nothing to lose. Yeah. It's all Brisbane. Everyone's Brisbane by how many? So the Tigers go with that mindset. Their front rowers, I know everyone's talking about Terrell May, but Fanua Pole, like I spoke about him on the podcast, man, he's just getting better and better. He's got great late feet. Defensively, they're a lot better than what they have been in the past. So, look, I expect Brisbane to win, but Tigers can have a crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tip the Broncos.
Didn't change your mind. Sorry,
I tried. I think Adam Reynolds will game.
He's a freak.
He'll just game manage them out of it pretty early on.
The 2 halves of the Broncos are class. Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds. Yeah. Any team would love one of them.
Manly's definitely not making a play for Adam Reynolds, by the way. That was the other scoop that I got.
You don't want another old
Lockie
bloke.
Galvin, possibly $5 million, 5 years.
Yes.
At West Tigers.
Oh, at Tigers.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't get that.
You know what? But I think the more I look into this, I think that's cheap for him.
Yeah, okay.
Because we're going to go hear me out. We're going to go into a new salary cap. They're going to go a new broadcasting deal. Salary cap's going to go up. They reckon it's going to be the highest ever that they've had. Like players that are probably on 700,000 will be the new $1 million mark.
Okay,
that's how I see it as. That's what Cherry would have probably got offered at Manly, 750. Dylan Brown, 1.3. There's going to be 2 new sides added to the competition in a couple of years' time. What do their marquee players get?
Are you coming back to play?
Yeah.
No chance. No chance. I'm happy behind these little things here.
It's the stroke for me.
Sorry. But for me, I just think the first 2 years, $1 million, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
But once that new deal does kick in, I think that if Tigers can lock him down for $1 million, I think that's going to be a great deal for them.
Yeah, okay.
And I hope he does because he's a local junior there. They need to do everything they do to keep him because he's going to be a superstar. You've heard Gus Gould's got massive raps, future rep player. Yeah. Lock him down, guys.
I just love seeing clubs being able to hold on to their juniors because you know how hard it is with salary caps to be able to nurture them, develop them, see them shine, and then all of a sudden they're off. Yeah. They have to go somewhere else, and it hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does hurt. I'm hurt.
Cherry's Dolphins junior brother.
Doesn't matter.
He's going back home.
Well, that's one guy.
He's going back home.
Oh, we lost heaps.
Oh, let's not open that
I don't want to go there again.
Nah.
The other game, Bulldogs and Knights. I guess just to speak to Bulldogs in general, the only team undefeated so far, top of the table. They just look so fit on the field. Every time there's a kick and chase, all players are chasing the ball like a big solid line of wall of defence.
Watching their game on the weekend, I think having no Burton brought the best out in Sexton.
Ah, okay.
I watched Sexton play closely. I was like, I wonder how they're going to go kicking game-wise. He's got a massive boot on him as well. And just he was leading the kick chase. Other blokes, they just compete.
Yeah.
They just frustrate sides defensively. They got blokes in your face. Like you see when Fanua Blake pushed Jamin Semen. Jamin Semen's not the biggest guy, but their line speed, they don't absolutely fold you. But what they do is they get up there, they stop your momentum, and they just come in numbers and just swarm you.
Numbers.
Like they're such a and Chemistry, geez, when he first went there, copped a bit of flack. Obviously, they didn't make the 8. They had a bit of a poor season defensively. But the more he's got his players into the system that he's trying to build, and the players he's also signed, like his first one was Stephen Crichton. He knew he's a great leader. Kickout was already there, but they're just building off the back of it. And like Bailey Hayward, young 5'8", he's been playing sort of hooker role, just trying to find a role, a lock role. Finally got his first start, and geez, him and Sexton together, wow, they were an enormous combo.
Yeah.
I'm going to tip the Newcastle Knights.
Okay, I'll do. Let's go around the ground. Quick tips.
Yeah.
Not allowed to add anything else. You just got to pick a game. Pick a team. Raiders, Sharks.
Sharks.
Penrith, Cowboys.
Penrith.
Cowboys.
South Roosters.
Souths.
Para Dragons.
Dragons.
Titans, Dolphins.
Titans.
Titans.
Come on, mate. Yeah. There he is. There he is.
Broncos, West Tigers.
Broncos.
Oh, now you're going Broncos. Bulldogs, Knights to wrap it up.
Knights.
Woof, woof. Doggies.
Doggies. Okay, so the games that are going to separate you are Penrith and Cowboys and the Bulldogs and Knights.
Yeah, I think that's my upset for the week. I reckon the Knights.
Okay.
Brian Tyler's out for the Panthers. I reckon that's a big one.
Nathan Cleary's back though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, well, he should be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers
I'm
crossed.
not going to say yeah. So we go before the team list, so don't come at us. All right, time for the offload, gents.
The offload. Let's
let
have
me get
30
the
seconds
timer
of
up.
pain.
30 seconds to rant, and then after that, you're not allowed to say another thing.
Okay.
All right? So I'll set the clock. Get your water in.
Okay.
All right,
Do you want me to
who's
go
going
first? I'll go
first?
first this time.
You can go.
All right, 3, 2, go.
Who's cutting the grass at Jubilee Oval? I've watched a lot of wet footy in my 35 years on this earth, and I've never seen so many grass clippings all over everyone. At one stage, I looked at Gutho, and he could have camouflaged into the grass. He was covered in just tiny little grass clippings. Never seen it. Mud, I'm all for. Grass clippings, no. Yes.
He had more grass
well
clippings than air on
done.
his head.
I thought you were upset about who was going to wash the jerseys as
Well
well.
done.
Oh yeah, just add to that. If I had to wash the jerseys for the Dragons this week, I'd be filthy.
Every week they're white.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
Disgusting.
week in particular.
Could be worse. You could be in the all yellow, mellow Parramatta jersey. Anyway, that would be my rant. You're up. Go.
For the third straight week, I'm going to have a crack at the referees again. It's the crackdown we've come up to. Obviously, head highs. We know once there's shoulder contact with the head, what is it? It's a 10 in the bin. We don't have to look at 4,000 replays and think, what are we going to do with this? Soon as shoulder hits the chin or the head in any capacity, listen here, refs, give them 10 straight away. We don't need a crackdown. We don't need like Magic Round in 2021. We just want to see you rule the game and officiate it like you do every week and just be consistent with it. Please and thank you. Woodsy's out.
Preach, brother. I wonder if we can get you.
You both did so well.
get
You
you
actually got it in.
fed up on the referees for the whole year.
If they call the game properly and there's no stuff-ups,
Next
we'll not
week.
mention the referee.
If you had a couple of Winniefield Blues a day, you sounded like Tommy Radonicus just then. 100%.
I'm going to wear a referee's outfit next week.
Oh, please don't.
I've got one.
Oh, mate.
You don't want to know how I got it either.
The weasel strikes again.
All right, well, another great week of Oz American Aces. Aaron Woods, Ash Wicks, thank you
Yep.
so much for joining us as well. Don't forget, if you do like all things sport, obviously we spoke about golf today as well too. We're obviously very keen fans. There is an AFL podcast out as well too with the guys Daisy, Wallace and Train. Check that one out. Like, subscribe, share, listen to our podcast, watch the podcast, whatever you want to do. Just ingest it. We look forward to seeing you again next week.